Good morning, one and all. So last class we are discussing about the EMF equation of a transformer. So in this, we can find out the induced EMF in the primary winding of a transformer. So E1 is equal to 4.44 F into phi m into N1. So E2 is equal to 4.44 into F into phi m into N2. So these two equations are already calculated, as well as transformation ratio K is equal to V2 divided by V1, E2 divided by E1, I1 divided by I2, N2 divided by N1. So based on these equations, so we are solving the more number of problems regarding voltages. So today we are discussing about the phasor diagrams of a transformer, so which is to be operates on either resistive load, inductive load, as well as capacitive loads. So first, phasor diagrams of a transformer. So in this, first of all, we are considered as a transformer. So this is the magnetic core, so which is having resistance, inductance, so which is equal to V1, I1. So voltage induced in the primary winding is equal to E1, so which is also is equal to, so resistance, inductance across the load. Voltage across the load is equal to V2, so which is equal to R2 and X2. So this is the basic circuit, which is also is equal to E2. So resistances of primary is equal to R1 and X1. Voltage drop across the each element I1 into R1, I1 into X1. So in this, voltage drop across the secondary winding is also is equal to, current in this winding is equal to I2 into R2. Voltage drop across the resistance, inductance is equal to I2 into X2. So based on this diagram, so we can draw the phasor diagrams of a transformer, which is to be operates on either resistive load, inductive load, as well as capacitive loads. So first one is resistive loads. So previously is also draw the phasor diagrams without presenting the resistances and inductances. So but in this we are considered as a basic diagrams. So which is equal to, flux is to be taken as a reference vector. So corresponding voltages, so E1 and E2 is always lags the flux by an angle 90 degrees. So which is equal to E1 and E2, which is equal to E1. The magnitude of opposite direction is also represented with the minus E1. So in this, whenever the transformer is to be operates on no load condition, so which is to be exhibited as a two types of losses. One is the magnetizing component, another one is core loss component. So resultant is equal to I naught. So based on these two representations, when we are getting the no load current, so which is always represented with the in this fashion, like this. So which is equal to I naught. So whenever the transformer is to be operates on resistive load, so that means voltage and current both are in phase. So that means voltage across the load is equal to V2, current flowing through the load is also is equal to I2. So when we are connecting the resistive load, voltage and current both are in phase. So that means, so based on the magnitudes, we are representing the lagging loads. So which is equal to V2 corresponding current. So which is equal to V2. which is equal to V2. So the magnitude of current is also in phase with voltage, in phase with voltage. So which is equal to V2, corresponding current is equal to I2 because of these two are in phase when we are connecting the resistive load, when we are connecting the resistive load. So in this, another one is that current is flowing through the resistance as well as reactances. These two are the internal resistance and reactances of a primary and secondary windings. So which is to be denoted by R2 and X2, R2 and X2. So which is always, so whatever the voltage drop across the resistance is always in phase with the voltage. So which is equal to I2 into R2. The magnitude of this one is equal to I2 into R2. I2 into R2. So I2 is to be multiplied with X2 when we are getting the voltage drop across the inductance. So resistance and inductance is always displaced by an angle 90 degrees. So which is equal to, the angle between these two is equal to 90 degrees. Angle between these two is equal to 90 degrees. So which is equal to I2 into X2. I2 into X2. Finally when we are getting E2. Finally when we are getting E2. So this is the secondary side. So similarly, so we can draw the primary side of a resistances and inductances. E1 is to be added with resistance and inductance when we are getting the input voltage and currents. Input voltage and currents. I2 is to be represented with the opposite side when we are getting I1 dash. So which is equal to I1 dash with the same magnitude. With the same magnitude. So resultant of I0 and I1 dash. So which is always getting the input current, which is always is equal to input current, which is equal to I1, which is equal to I1. So voltage drop across the resistance is equal to I1 into R1. So which is always in phase with the I1, in phase with I1. So this is the I1 phasor, which is also is equal to I1 into R1, I1 into R1. So this is the magnitude of voltage drop across the resistance. Another one is inductance, I1 into X1, I1 into X1. So resistance drop and inductance both are 90 degrees displacement. So which is equal to 90 degrees, which is equal to 90 degrees. So resultant of a given phasor is equal to V1, is equal to V1. So this is the presentation or phasor diagram of a transformer which is to be operates on no load condition, or a transformer is to be operates on resistive loads. So when we are connecting the resistive load across the load terminals, then only when we are getting the phasor diagram of a transformer, phasor diagram of a transformer. So load power factor is always is equal to, that means load power factor is equal to 5. So power factor is to be represented in the given circuit. So which is equal to E1 and V1 and I0 is equal to phi naught, which is equal to load power factor. Phi 2 is equal to 0. Load power factor is equal to 0. So based on this phasor diagram, so we can find out the voltages of a given transformer. Voltages of a given transformer. So first of all, we can find out the E2 value. E2, how to get the value of E2? E2 is equal to phasor sum of total values. Total values. This is the path. This is the path. So that means resistive means which is a straight line. So which is equal to square root of V2 plus I2 into R2. I2 into R2 whole square plus I2 into X2 whole square. So that means according to the Pythagoras theorem, so AB square plus BC square is equal to AC square. So that is in the similar fashion. E2 is equal to square root of V2 plus I2 R2 whole square plus I2 X2 whole square. I2 X2 whole square. The magnitude of I2 X2 whole square is always very, very small compared to the first term. So that's why which is to be neglected. Which is to be neglected because of based on the magnitudes we are neglecting the I2 X2 whole square. I2 X2 whole square. Then E2 is equal to square and root. Both are gets cancelled. E2 is similarly or approximately is equal to V2 plus I2 into R2. I2 into R2. So in the similar fashion we can find out the E1. So because of we know the relation between E2 by E1 is equal to K. E2 by E1 is equal to K. So another one is E1 is equal to, therefore E1 is equal to E2 divided by K. So because of, based on this expression, we are already calculating the E2 value. E2 divided by K is equal to E1. E2 divided by K is equal to E1. In the similar fashion, so we are also calculating the V1 value. So V1 is equal to square root of E1 addition with I1 R1. So which is equal to E1 plus I1 R1 whole square plus I1 X1 whole square. I1 X1 whole square. So similarly, the magnitude is very small compared to the previous term. So that's why we are neglecting this term. Square and root gets cancelled. V1 is approximately is equal to E1 plus I1 into R1. E1 into R1. So these are the equations of a transformer which is to be operates on resistive loads. Operates on resistive load. So second one is the RL load. Second one is RL load. So which is to be operates on the RL load condition. So that means resistance and inductance is to be connected across the load terminals. So what about the behavior of a transformer? So which is to be represented in phasor diagrams. So similarly, so phi is to be taken as a reference vector. Which is equal to phi. So similarly, so E2, so which is equal to E1, another one is E2. So voltage V2, so which is equal to V2. So inductive load means V2 and I2 both are lagging nature. So current is always lags the voltage by an angle phi. So then only we are represented as a inductive loads. So that means which is equal to I2, lagging nature. So which is equal to load power factor, which is to be calculated from the given load. So then, so which is to be connected across the load resistance or secondary of a resistance and inductance. So which is always in phase with I2. So E2, or when we are getting the E2 value, terminal voltage is to be added with these two drops. Then only when we are getting the E2 value. So E2 which is to be in phase with I2 into R2. So I2 into X2 is always displaced by an angle 90 degrees. So which is equal to 90 degrees is equal to I2 into X2. So which is equal to E2. So previously V2 and I2 both are in phase because of pure resistance. Pure resistance is to be connected across the load terminals. Then only when we are getting this type of phasor diagram. But in case of a inductive loads or RL circuit, RL load is to be connected across the load terminals. Then, so which is to be represented by a I2 is different and V2 is different. So these two are displaced by an angle phi. So which is to be in phase with I2 into R2, which is to be displaced by an angle 90 degrees. I2 and X2 resultant is equal to E2. So similarly, so we are drawing the E1 value, which is equal to minus E1. So which is equal to I0 value. So which is always getting the value of magnetizing component and core loss component. I2 is to be opposite to the opposite, which is equal to I1 dash, So resultant of these two is equal to, input current I1. So drops is to be added with these two elements, then only when we are getting E1. So which is always in phase with the I1. So which is equal to I1 R1. So which is equal to 90 degrees. These two are displaced by an angle 90 degrees. which is equal to I1 x1. Resultant is equal to V1. Resultant is equal to V1. So current or load power factor is to be displaced by an angle phi. Load power factor is always displaced by an angle phi. So this is the RL load circuit. RL load circuit, when we are presenting the resistance and inductances is to be connected across the load terminals, then only when we are getting this type of phasor diagrams. Now, so we can find out the voltages E2 and V1. E2 and V1. So E2 is equal to, so it is equal to E2. So E2 is equal to square root of, E2 is equal to square root of V2 plus I2 R2 cos phi plus I2 x2 sin phi whole square plus I2 x2 cos phi minus I2 R2 sin phi whole square. So how to get this expression? So V2 is the terminal voltage, I2 R2 cos phi. So which is equal to, so our objective is, so we can find out the path of a E2 value. So in this, so we are extending this one. So phi value means which is also is equal to phi. So I2 into R2 cos phi is the magnitude of this one, magnitude of total value. So I2 R2 cos phi plus I2 x2 sin phi. So in this also when we are getting same path, which is also is equal to same path. So based on these two triangles, by simplification of these two triangles, V2 plus I2 R2 cos phi plus I2 x2 sin phi whole square plus I2 x2 cos phi minus I2 R2 sin phi. So the magnitude of these two are very, very small compared to this one because of V2 is present. This term is to be neglected. So what about the value of E2? E2 is equal to, approximately is equal to V2 plus I2 R2 cos phi plus I2 x2 sin phi. So this is the voltage induced in a secondary winding by connecting the RL loads across the load terminals. Second one is V1 value. So that means similarly E1 is equal to E2 divided by K. So another one is V1 value. So V1 is equal to square root of E1 plus I1 R1 cos phi plus I1 x1 sin phi whole square plus I1 x1 cos phi minus I1 R1 sin phi whole square. So this is the representation of these two. For example, like this. So these are the angle. So which is equal to input power factor angle. So which is also is equal to phi. So by simplifying these two triangles, when we are getting these equations. So according to the triangular formulas. So V1 is equal to, so the magnitude of this term is very, very small compared to first term. So that's why we are neglecting the second term. So square root and root r gets cancelled. V1 is approximately is equal to E1 plus I1 R1 cos phi plus I1 x1 sin phi. Approximately is equal to V1 is approximately is equal to E1 plus I1 R1 cos phi plus I1 x1 sin phi. So this is the RL loads. So third one is the RC loads. So or capacitive capacitive loads. So in this, so flux is to be taken as a, so which is equal to RC loads, so which is equal to, so flux is to be taken as a reference vector, so voltage, so which is equal to E1, so which is also is equal to E2. So how to get the value of E2? So because of, so voltage V2 which is equal to V2, so this value, or when we are connecting the RC load, so voltage or current is always leads the voltage by an angle phi, so which is equal to I2 value, so current is always leads the voltage by an angle phi, which is equal to phi, current is always leads the voltage by an angle phi. So then so which is equal to this is the value of V2, so which is to be in phase with the voltage, so which is equal to resistive load, so resistive load in the sense, so which is equal to I1 R1. So these two are always in parallel, so that means these two are always parallel, so I1 R1 is always in phase with the I2 R2 is always in phase with the I2, so the angle or I2 X2 is always displaced by an angle 90 degrees, which is equal to 90 degrees when we are getting the E2 value, which is equal to I2 into X2. So this is the downward directions. So what about the upward directions? So which is equal to minus E1. So I2 is the in this path, so which is also is equal to opposite direction, I1 dash minus I1 dash. So already we know the general representation of I0 is equal to summation of core loss component and magnetizing component, so which is equal to I0. So resultant of these two is equal to, always is equal to I1, which is always is equal to I1 value. So then I1 or voltage drop across these two elements is to be added, which is equal to I1, which is always in phase with the I1 R1, so that means which is equal to I1 R1, so which is to be displaced by an angle 90 degrees, which is equal to I1 X1. So resultant is equal to V1. So this is the final phasor diagram of a transformer which is to be operates on capacitive loads. Then so we can find out the voltage equations of a transformer. E2 is equal to square root of, by simplifying this one, so which is equal to E2 is equal to V2 plus I2 R2 cos phi minus I2 X2 sin phi whole square, plus I2 X2 cos phi plus I2 R2 sin phi whole square. So these are the two equations. So by simplifying this diagram, when we are getting V2 I2 R2 cos phi minus I2 X2 sin phi. So another one is sorry, this is the minus, which is equal to minus I2 X2 cos phi minus plus I2 R2 sin phi. So the magnitude is very, very small. Then square and root r gets cancelled. So E2 is approximately is equal to V2 plus I2 R2 cos phi minus I2 X2 sin phi. Sin phi. So this is the voltage equation. So then E1 is equal to E2 divided by K. E2 divided by K. So that is the E1 and E2 voltages. E1 and E2. So similarly we can find out the V1 value. So V1 is equal to square root of E1 plus which is equal to I1, which is equal to E1. So V1 is equal to E1 plus I1 R1 cos phi minus I1 X1 sin phi whole square plus minus I1 X1 cos phi minus plus I1 R1 sin phi whole square. So these are the two equations by simplifying this one. So for easily understandable of the given diagram, we can easily simplifying this part. Okay. So V1 or this term is very, very small. So these two gets cancelled. V1 is approximately is equal to E1 plus I1 R1 cos phi minus I1 X1 sin phi. So these are the voltage and current equations or voltage equations of a three diagrams. So first of all, so we know the voltage EMF equations of a both the terms or transformation ratio. So another one is phasor diagrams of a transformer is to be operates on three loads. One is the pure resistance, second one is RL load, third one is the RC loads. So first one is the pure resistance. So that means there is no inductance is to be present in the loads. So that's why, so phi is the common factor of primary and secondary, that's why which is to be considered as a reference vector. So I0 is the no load current. So another one is based on the inductance or pure resistance. So I2 and V2 always in phase. V2 and I2 always in phase. Voltage drop across the I2 R2 is always in phase with the I2. That's why which is always in phase. So another one is I2 X2 is displaced by an angle 90 degrees. Resultant is equal to E2. So similarly E1 is equal to minus E1. So because of E1 is always opposed as the main cause of producing it. V1 is equal to minus E1. So that's why which is to be transferring to the primary side. So this equation is valid for the, we are neglecting the resistance and inductance. Then only which will be valid. Otherwise these two terms are also presented. We can add the voltage drop across those two elements. Then only when we are get the input voltage or V1. So which is equal to, so by simplifying these two, E2 is equal to square root of V2 plus I2 R2 whole square plus I2 X2 whole square. So based on the simplification purpose, this term is very, very small compared to this term. So that's why which is to be neglected. So these two gets cancelled. E2 is approximately is equal to V2 plus I2 into R2. By using of transformation ratio, E2 divided by E1 is equal to K. So E1 is equal to E2 divided by K. So if by simplifying this one, so which is equal to V1 is equal to square root of V1 plus I1 R1 whole square plus I1 into X1 whole square. So V1 is approximately is equal to E1 plus I1 into R1. So RL loads. Another one is RL loads. So in this flux is to be taken as reference vector. So corresponding E1. So then So I2 R2 are voltage and currents. These two are always current is always lags the voltage by an angle 5 degrees. So I2 R2 drop, I2 and X2 drop. Okay. So by simplifying these two, so again we can write down the voltage equations. So square root of V2 plus I2 R2 cos phi plus I2 X2 sin phi, I2 X2 sin phi plus I2 X2 cos phi minus I2 R2 sin phi whole square. By simplification purpose, this term is to be neglected. Again these two are gets cancelled. E2 is approximately is equal to V2 plus I2 R2 cos phi plus I2 X2 sin phi. So E1 is equal to E2 divided by K. E2 divided by K. So V1 is equal to. So again we can calculating this part. V1 is equal to approximately is equal to E1 plus I1 R1 cos phi plus I1 X1 sin phi. I1 X1 sin phi. So third one is the RC loads. So current is always leads the voltage by an angle 5 degrees. So that's why which is to be in this path, which is also is equal to I2 R2 is also in this direction. Resultant is equal to E2 value. So E2 is equal to V2 plus I2 R2 cos phi minus I2 X2 sin phi. So similarly, so we can easily simplifying I1 R1, I1 X1. Resultant is equal to V1. V1 is equal to E1 plus I1 R1 cos phi minus I1 X1 sin phi. So these are the total phasor diagrams of a transformer. Thank you.